A security guard stops a casually dressed man at the entrance. No ID, no entry. Little did he know, that man was Elon Musk. What happened next left everyone speechless. The sun shone brightly over the sleek glass facade of one of the world's leading tech company headquarters. Employees bustled in and out, their ID badges gleaming in the sunlight, while the security guard stood tall at his post, scanning every individual with a sharp, professional eye. The atmosphere was a mix of precision and routine, as the guard ensured that only authorized personnel could pass through the high-tech revolving doors. It was just another day on the job, or so it seemed. Amid the hum of activity, a casually dressed man approached the entrance. His outfit was unassuming, a plain t-shirt, faded jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low over his eyes. He walked with an air of quiet confidence, his strides purposeful yet relaxed. A pair of sunglasses shielded most of his face, adding to his low-profile demeanor. To the guard, this man looked like anyone else. A visitor, perhaps, or an employee who had forgotten their badge. But what stood out was the subtle sense of self-assurance in his posture, as though he belonged there without needing to prove it. The man reached the security desk and nodded politely at the guard, who immediately asked for his identification. The man's response was calm, but unexpected. "I don't have it on me, but I need to get inside." The guard furrowed his brow, glancing at the stranger's casual attire and lack of credentials. Unbeknownst to him, this was no ordinary visitor. This was Elon Musk, one of the most recognizable figures in the world of technology and innovation. However, in that moment, he was just a nameless individual attempting to walk past the checkpoint of a vigilant security professional who had no idea the encounter would soon become the talk of the town. The guard's expression remained polite but firm as he repeated, "I'm sorry, sir, but without proper identification, I can't let you in." The man tilted his head slightly, a faint smirk playing at the corner of his lips. "I'm Elon Musk," he said matter-of-factly, as if the name alone should open the doors. But the guard, unshaken, met his gaze evenly. "And I'm the guy who needs to see an ID," he replied with a hint of humor, softening his tone, but holding his ground. A small crowd of employees began to gather near the entrance, their curiosity piqued by the unexpected exchange. Some whispered amongst themselves, glancing nervously between the casually dressed man and the unyielding guard. A few even recognized the figure before them, their eyes widening in disbelief. Yet the guard remained unfazed, treating the situation as he would with anyone else. Rules were rules, and his job was to uphold them, no matter who claimed to be standing before him. The man took a deep breath, clearly amused by the interaction. "Look," he said, raising his hands in mock surrender. "I get it, you're just doing your job. But I really do need to get inside. It's kind of important." The guard, however, wasn't budging. "If it's that important, I suggest you get someone from inside to vouch for you," he said. There was no malice in his voice, only the quiet determination of someone who had been trained to prioritize security over convenience. By now, the murmurs in the crowd had grown louder. Some were pulling out their phones, snapping discreet pictures or recording the moment. "Is that really Elon Musk?" someone whispered. "Why doesn't he just show an ID?" another muttered. The man, catching snippets of the conversations, simply smiled and reached for his phone. He tapped away quickly, sending a message that would soon escalate the situation far beyond what anyone at the entrance could have imagined. As the man put his phone away, the guard observed him closely, his training kicking into high gear. Suspicious behavior, a lack of credentials, and the growing crowd all pointed to a potential situation that could spiral out of control. Still, the guard maintained his composure, ensuring that he didn't let emotions cloud his judgment. "I'll need you to step aside until someone can confirm your identity," he said, gesturing toward a quieter corner away from the main entrance. The man complied, leaning casually against a wall while the guard returned to his post, keeping an eye on him. Minutes felt like hours as the tension thickened in the air. The crowd, now larger, buzzed with speculation. "He looks like Elon, but why would he dress like that?" one person wondered aloud. "Maybe it's a prank," another suggested. Despite the murmurs and the growing pressure, the guard's professionalism never wavered. His job was to protect the building and its occupants, and he took that responsibility seriously. It didn't matter if this man was a billionaire or a nobody. Protocol had to be followed. Then the doors to the building swung open, and a flurry of movement caught everyone's attention. A senior executive rushed out, her face a mix of urgency and disbelief. "Mr. Musk!" she exclaimed, practically running toward the casually dressed man. The guard stood at attention, his expression neutral but his mind racing. In that moment, everything became clear. This wasn't just an eccentric visitor or a clever prank. It really was Elon Musk. The crowd erupted into murmurs of excitement, with some even breaking into applause. The guard, however, remained calm, his training guiding him through the unexpected turn of events. He stepped forward and addressed the executive. "Ma'am, he didn't have identification, so I had to follow protocol," he explained succinctly, standing by his decision. The executive nodded, her face softening as she turned to Elon. "I'm so sorry for the misunderstanding," she said, but Elon simply raised a hand, stopping her mid-apology. A smile spread across his face as he turned to the guard, ready to deliver a response that would leave everyone stunned. Elon Musk's smile lingered as he studied the security guard, who stood tall despite the murmurs around him. The guard's expression betrayed neither nervousness nor regret, only the quiet confidence of someone who had done their job to the best of their ability. Elon took a step forward, extending his hand. "I have to say," he began, his tone both amused and impressed, "you handled that like a pro." The guard hesitated for a moment before shaking Elon's hand, still unsure how to process the sudden change in tone. The executive, now visibly flustered, began explaining the situation to Elon, apologizing profusely for the misunderstanding, but Elon, with a dismissive wave of his hand, cut her off again. "There's nothing to apologize for," he said, his gaze never leaving the guard. "In fact, I wish more people had this level of dedication." The crowd, which had fallen silent in anticipation, began to buzz with admiration for Elon's reaction. Instead of being angry or offended, he seemed genuinely impressed by the guard's unwavering adherence to the rules. For the security guard, this was a moment of vindication. Despite the growing pressure from the crowd, he had remained composed and professional, treating Elon as he would anyone else. As Elon continued to praise him, the guard couldn't help but feel a swell of pride. "Thank you, sir," he replied, his voice steady despite the surreal nature of the encounter. "I just wanted to make sure I was doing my job right." Elon nodded, his smile widening. "And you did," he said firmly. The crowd, now fully aware of the gravity of the situation, erupted into cheers and applause. Many began recording the interaction, their phones capturing Elon Musk, a man known for his brilliance and unpredictability, expressing genuine admiration for an everyday worker. For the guard, what had started as a routine interaction had transformed into a defining moment, one that would soon gain the attention of millions worldwide. After the applause subsided, Elon turned to the executive, his face lit with a mix of amusement and purpose. "This guy here," he said, gesturing toward the guard, "is exactly the kind of person I want on my team." The executive, though slightly stunned, nodded quickly in agreement, sensing where Elon was headed. The guard looked between the two, his confusion evident. "What do you mean, sir?" he asked cautiously. Elon stepped closer, his tone serious now. "I mean, you've got the qualities I value: integrity, professionalism, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. How would you like to lead security at one of my other facilities?" The guard's eyes widened in disbelief. This was not just praise, it was an opportunity of a lifetime. "Are you serious?" he asked, his voice tinged with incredulity. Elon chuckled. "I'm always serious," he replied. "Think about it. You'd be working directly for me." The crowd, sensing the magnitude of the offer, gasped in unison. Some even began clapping again, their admiration for the guard reaching new heights. The guard, still trying to process what was happening, looked at Elon, then at the executive, and finally at the crowd. "I don't know what to say," he admitted, his voice trembling slightly. "You don't have to decide now," Elon said reassuringly. "Take your time, but know that this offer stands because you earned it." In that moment, the guard realized that his unwavering commitment to doing the right thing had not gone unnoticed. As the crowd dispersed, still buzzing with excitement, Elon gave the guard a final nod of approval before heading inside with the executive. The guard stood at his post, still processing the surreal turn of events. Little did he know, the video of the encounter was already going viral, with millions of people around the world praising his integrity and Elon Musk's unexpected gesture. As the crowd dispersed, the security guard remained at his post, his mind racing with the events that had just unfolded. He replayed Elon Musk's words over and over. "You earned it." The offer to lead security at one of Elon's facilities was not just a job. It was a validation of his dedication, professionalism, and unwavering integrity. For someone who had spent years ensuring the safety of others, this moment felt surreal, like a dream he hadn't dared to imagine. He stood rooted in place, trying to process what it all meant for his future. Inside the building, the buzz over the incident was already spreading. Employees whispered about the guard's composure and Elon's surprising reaction. Meanwhile, the executive who had greeted Elon took a moment to reflect on what had just happened. "He's a rare find," she admitted to Elon as they walked to the conference room. Elon nodded, his face serious. "People like him are the backbone of any successful operation," he replied. "They're the ones who keep everything running smoothly, even when no one's looking." Elon's words carried the weight of experience, showing that he valued more than just innovation. He valued character. Back at the entrance, the guard's phone buzzed incessantly as messages flooded in from colleagues, friends, and even strangers who had already seen videos of the encounter online. Clips of the moment when Elon shook his hand and offered him the promotion were making their way across social media platforms, accompanied by captions like "Elon Musk rewards integrity" and "When professionalism pays off." The guard couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. It wasn't just the offer that left him awestruck, it was the realization that people around the world were now celebrating his simple act of doing the right thing. As the day wore on, the gravity of the situation began to sink in. The guard thought about what accepting the offer would mean for him and his family. It wasn't just a step up in his career, it was a leap into a world he had never dreamed of entering. But as he stood there, watching the bustling crowd move through the entrance he was entrusted to protect, he felt a deep sense of pride. In that moment he realized that the qualities Elon Musk admired in him weren't extraordinary. They were values he had carried with him every day: integrity, dedication, and a belief in doing what's right. The opportunity before him was the ultimate reward for those values, and he vowed to make the most of it. As the guard finally smiled, realizing the magnitude of the opportunity before him, he made a silent promise to himself to uphold the same values that had brought him to this life-changing moment. Elon Musk's unexpected offer was proof that integrity and professionalism could open doors no one imagined. And as the world celebrated his story, the guard stood tall, ready for the next chapter of his life. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Peak Stories for more incredible tales that prove anything is possible.